Hi everyone, this is Marcy Bishop, your art appreciation instructor, and this is Dee Dee, my lovely office assistant. So what we're going to be doing today is a little demo on how to hatch and cross hatch. And using these techniques, you can really build a lot of shadow. You can make things look more representational and more 3D. And so I have some office plants and some house plants that I have moved outside today. And it is just a lovely day to just draw outside. And so I've chosen this really large leaf to draw. It has a lot of good value, good lights, good darks, good shadows. And so I think this one would be the best one to choose for this particular presentation. And I want to show you a variety of pens and pencils that you might want to invest in the future if you do plan on making drawings. But I do have some Pitt pens, and you can get a very large range of different widths of line. Um, and they're just really great to have. I also have pencils that I keep in a case, and they are stuck to my kneaded eraser, which I will talk about later in the video and how to use that eraser. But they're kept in here, and just like with the Pitt pens, there's a very large variation of different softness and hardness with the pencil, and depending on how heavy your hand is, you may want to use a lighter pencil. And I would like to note that the white pencil is a very special pencil that was given to me by a friend. These are really cool pencils. And you'll notice on some of these drawing pencils that there will be a number. 2H is going to be a softer pencil, not giving you a dark, harsh line. And I like to start my drawings just with a very light pencil, very light-handed and free, very gestural, to get some proportions down. And then I can start getting a little bit more detail. So now I'm going to actually show you the process of hatching and cross hatching. So right now I'm just drawing in a diagonal fashion, and as I look at the object, I notice that there's shadow, there's depth, there's value, and once I start with a light line, I can then go back in and start adding darker hatching marks. And if you look really closely, these are parallel lines that do not intersect. And now I'm coming back in and cross hatching by just taking those lines, going in the opposite direction to create a very blended, very smooth shadow and three-dimensional shape. And everyone's hatching marks are going to look a little different. And right below the hatching marks, I'm going to do a little bit of cross hatching. And these are going to be a little bit more looser, a little bit more gestural. Have fun with it. And right now I'm just really working on the structure of the leaf, noticing some detail, but not getting too detailed. I really just want to get the proportion of that leaf down before I start hatching or adding any sort of shadow or detail. And this is just a reminder of what I am actually drawing. And you'll want to reference your object or your landscape multiple times. And it also helps to take a photo to reference. But this is just a reminder of what I'm actually drawing. And now that I have some of my basic proportions of the leaf down, I'm going to start adding some hatching marks throughout. And I'm starting very lightly. I am drawing with a 4B pencil, which is going to be more of a darker pencil. And especially if you're heavy-handed, you might want to start off with an H pencil. And so I'm just going to very lightly come in and start organizing and shading some areas that I see shadow in. And you'll see that I am drawing in a vertical and horizontal way, especially down in some of the shadowy parts. And another thing to mention is that since I am drawing from life and I'm drawing outside, The sun will be setting, and so the lighting on my leaf will be looking different as the sun sets. So I really have to work with the environment. Another good way to reference or to kind of avoid that from happening is taking a picture of your object or your landscape and referencing it later. Here's where I'm going to slow down just a little bit to show you how I am hatching. And you can do this with larger areas by just making your hatching marks vertically or horizontally. You want to follow the curvature of the object or the landscape that you're drawing from. So you're not going to necessarily be making these stiff hatching marks. They should kind of flow with your object. And you can start getting darker in some areas. I find that if you squint your eyes and look at an object, you can kind of see darker shapes, shadows, shapes within shapes, and it does help. So I would recommend doing that if you're not really, if you can't really see a lot of depth to your object. Squinting your eyes definitely helps. So I'm just going to fast forward a little bit, but I did want to mention that, I know that everybody is not artists. Maybe this is something that you've never done before or you haven't drawn since kindergarten. Whatever that may be, I totally understand. I don't expect everyone to, be a Michelangelo by any means. But I just want everyone to have fun with this assignment. I know that times right now are, a little depressing, and I think that it just really helps if, you get outside. And now I want to slow down just for a second to take a look at this eraser that I have. This is called a kneaded eraser, and you can mold it into different shapes. You can stretch it out, but it's self-preserving. There's no need to go out and get another eraser. This thing will last you ages. But there's a process that is called reduction process, and this is when you put down a layer of charcoal or graphite, but you can start making eraser marks with the kneaded eraser. And again, you can like pinch this thing, you can squeeze it to really get fine details with this eraser. But this is called the reduction method. So I've added a bit more details to the leaf. I've went back in and added some more shadows and values. So now I can really start to add more details if I want to. And I'm making light hatching marks, I'm making dark hatching marks. At this point, I am making a lot of visual measurements. And this is when I am analyzing the actual object, making those measurements between the shapes in the object or whatever kind of shadow or depth that I see. And by the way, those arrows at the top that you see to the left-hand top corner, those are just arrows to let you know where the light is shining down on the leaf. And those are the areas that I will leave white or not shade at all. I wanted to talk a little bit about the pit pens. So I have those pit pens that I showed you earlier with different measures of or various thicknesses of marker. I just wanted to show you right here is where you can really see those hatching marks. Pit pens are just really fun to use. You can get an extraordinary amount of detail with these things, and you can also build your hatching marks for shadows. And I also have a thicker tip pen as well for thicker lines if you want a lot of coverage in your drawing. There are various sizes, just like with the pencils. These are really fun to use. So we're coming to the end of the demo, and I want to let you guys know that if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to email me. Again, this assignment will be due on the 29th. Along with your reflection, there is no step 2 to this just because of everything that's going on. I wanted one less step of the process. So I hope you all enjoyed everything. I'll be posting this to Blackboard. Have a great day.